is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latin, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
It's 8 minutes after 8. Thank you very much for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation, the Situation Room. Asante for choosing this as the way to start your day, whether you're following us on KTN, on Spice FM, on YouTube, on Facebook, on X, on TikTok, on Radio Garden, wherever you are across the globe. Thank you for joining. Tala reminds you that as you go into this festive season, and we already started saying Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, because this is the final Friday of October, and then we are on to November. So happy holidays, and as the holidays are coming, be prepared that you will have those moments when you have some urgent need for cash, okay? And if you download Tala, and you have Tala on your mobile device, download it from Google Play, you will then have a companion who can lend you money. And the good thing about Tala is once you borrow, you're the one who chooses within how long, when do you want to pay. You want to pay within 20 days, 30 days, 35 days, whatever, 0 to 61 days, you choose when you want to pay. And it helps you if you pay faster than the days that you had actually said you were going to pay. It also works to your benefit. You increase your credit score. That means that you're also increasing the limit of the amount of money that you can borrow, which works better for you. Now, this is better. Think about it in terms of your own usikue yule mtu, where everybody, all of your friends know when you see a call from Eric on a Friday, huyu anataka pesa. Don't be that guy. If you see Eric calling you, this guy, all right, huyu anataka pesa. Don't be that person. Because there are many times when you actually do need money, then you, because of the kind of cred that you have with your friends, they're like, yeah. You're asking for 10K. Yeah, I don't have. I only have a G. Don't be that person. Yeah, come to your friends when you actually do really need to borrow, and you you need a longer period to pay, so you can discuss with them. The other times, talk to Tala. Yeah. That's why they say on this billboard behind me here, Jijenge Natala. Sindio City.
Kabisa.
10 years in these markets. They have lent out over $500 million shillings.
A decade is
Imagine, that's a decade is a long time. Very well established. Very well established. Remind us the day's Proverbs, City.
Yes, our Proverbs for this week, and that's a fun proverb from the Republic of Tunisia.
Yes.
He who spends a night with a chicken will crackle in the morning.
He who spends the night with the chicken will crackle in the morning and lay an egg at noon.
Essentially cock-a-doodle-doo. Yes.
Yeah.
You will cock-a-doodle-doo. Yeah.
Kabisa. We were told that thing, there's somebody who told us, reminded us the Murima version of that proverb. Mushera na Mukongo.
Yes.
Mukodo, Kodukaga. I think it was Professor Kagwanja.
It was Professor Kagwanja.
Yes. Okay. President William Ruto has... first of all, let's say we had invited Martha Karua to come and join us this morning. She was on her way. We've been informed that she has been called back to attend to an emergency. We don't know the nature of the emergency, but her team says, unfortunately, on her way here, she received a call and she has had to turn back to go to attend to an emergency. We hope that all is well, Martha. It would have been very nice to have you here. We hope to have you next week. So, I was reading a story. President William Ruto has defended the 95 billion shillings deal between Adani Energy Solutions and the Kenya Electricity Transmission Company, KETRACO, saying it will save Kenyans from high power costs. It's the first time the president is publicly commenting on the controversy sparked by reports the Indian conglomerate Adani Group has bagged multi-billion shilling deals, including a 238 billion takeover bid of JKIA. President Ruto said the deal will see the Indian firm build and operate several key power transmission lines that are expected to reduce electricity costs in the coming months. My government is committed to entering into private partnerships with the private sector in infrastructure projects to help reduce the tax burden and the debt reliance. An example is the partnership between the government and the Adani Energy Solutions, which will lead to reduced price of electricity. The partnership will fully address the perennial power losses in the country through the installation of new power lines and stations. The deal between Ketraco and Adani will cost an estimated 95.68 billion shillings. It'll see the Indian company develop, finance, construct, and operate transmission lines and substations across the country. Even the CS for Energy says all Kenyans are well aware of the significant challenge that our country faces with persistent power blackouts. These projects are designed to significantly enhance our national electricity infrastructure, ensuring reliable and widespread access to power. Okay? So the president has come out now and waded into the Adani and says, you know what, this is the way we are going. This is going to save us a lot of money. It's going to save us in terms of taxes. We don't have to raise taxes. So then we can get money to do these projects because a private investor comes and they put in their money. If we were going to borrow, it would have cost us a lot. This one, we're not borrowing. We are just paying.
The principle makes sense. The principle makes a great deal of sense. But I want us to indulge ourselves in just a little arithmetic here.
Let's do that.
Just a little arithmetic.
Let's do it.
We are saying the Adani deal will last 30 years, and within that period of time, we'll have been able to pay back. First of all, let's start with the amount. How much are we saying it's going to cost us in terms of Kenya shillings? How many billions?
Okay. 30 years for the power transmission lines.
Yes.
95.68 billion shillings.
Yes.
95.68 billion.
That is 30 years.
Yes.
Okay. And we're not talking about the airport. Let's just talk about this particular.
Ketraco.
Let's just start with
signed.
Ketraco. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's not mix issues. If you are 10 years old today, this thing will finish paying it when you're 40 years of age.
That's true.
All right? If you're 20 years of age now, you'll be 60 years of age. If you are 40 years of age, you will be 70 years of age. If you're 50 years of age, you will be 80 years of age.
Yes.
If you are 60 years of age and above like myself, you'll be dead.
Buana, no, Buana. 90, you'll still be here sitting.
I am not saying that I will not be alive. The likelihood of being alive exists, but it's remote. Okay? So, take the age of 10 and take the age of 60. You are traversing almost 2 generations in paying off this debt.
Yes.
And by the time it is paid off, 30 years, will you not be needing new power lines?
Of course.
And then, is it the most cost-effective way of ensuring that we actually get what it is that we need? This amount, what are we comparing it with? Who are the other people who will do this sort of work? Okay, let's start with the people who put up those power lines before. Gongalo. You know those. What did they do? Who are they? How did they go about it?
How much did we pay them?
Yes, the other people.
Because those ones were not PPP.
No, they were not.
We paid a contract.
We are not the only country on the planet that use electricity. We're not the only ones who have pylons. Other people do. These are the people. How do they go about it? And has our government informed us of why it is this is the best choice, given that other people do this business? No, they haven't. Now, what am I saying? I am saying that for 10-year-olds to be saddled with a debt that during their working life, they'll be coming to almost entering the twilight period of their lives, they'll be paying for something which they don't fully understand. For those who are at the age where they are working, this thing is going to follow them until retirement. Those who are nearing retirement, it will be during that period when you have to replace body parts. Okay. All I'm saying is this. When you have a debt of this nature that will occupy the citizenry of this country for a great portion of their active and meaningful life, should we not take a little more time and care to ensure that the deal we're getting is by far the best deal that we could actually get? We've been saddled with very many such deals, whether it is these equipment and companies that print money for us. We started off with some people who are building a railway for us, who went and built similar railways elsewhere for less. All these stories, Adani may very well be the best. But can we know, can we see and understand that they are the best? And when we're told of these amounts, again, can it be explained to us so that we understand that 95.6 billion is the best thing we could do? That's all really. It's really not that complicated. Because what is being used is not being brought from some other planet. Everything that is utilized is available on this planet, and most of them are available here in this country.
If I understand what you're saying, basically, it's the information side that is really, really glaring.
Yes, it is the information side.
Because let's even say that the people who went through these deals, all right, so the Ministry of Energy sits down and says the best way for us to improve our power stability is let's improve our infrastructure for transmission. Okay.
Yes, makes sense.
Needs established. Because. All right, what options do we have? We have an option of putting money into Ketraco, and then Ketraco contracts companies to do the work for it. That's just like we've done with the current power lines with Ketraco. Okay, so the option here is every year we allocate X amount of money in the national budget that goes to Ketraco that then builds the power lines. How long do we need to do that? Blah, 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 blah. How much money? How feasible is that? That's option number one. Option number two is a public partnership, where private sector through whatever, whether it's PIP, whether it's a publicly announced and advertised bid, whatever. But it's a public-private partnership where you come in, you build, you operate, you transfer. That's it. So you build, you operate it. As you're operating it, there's a levy that is charged, and that's where you recoup your costs plus your margin of profit, all pre-agreed, and then at the end of this tenure, you will transfer it back to the taxpayer through Ketraco. Okay, sawa. That's another option. Another option, raise money in another way in the market, for example, so that then the company is able to do it. Kengen did that. They did an IPO. They raised money. They had that money. They were able to do a bit of power generation, expansion of its power generation capacity. That's one other way. Okay, go to the market, raise money for this company. All those, let's say that the guys at the Ministry of Energy considered and they said, let's bring in the economists, let's bring in the power engineers, let's bring in everybody, maybe PPP is a better route. It's easier, it's smoother for us. Have a conversation on negotiation. How many power lines do we need? How many kilometers of power lines? What do we need? From where to where? How much will it cost us? Arrive at a figure. Do we know all those things? Is there a bit of communication that then happens and says, 95 billion shillings will give us this. This is a better deal. We actually squeezed it. We had done our own math before these guys came, and we had seen it could be maybe one or two. But when they came in and we argued, do it, let's increase the economies of scale, blah, 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 this, the other, we're able to push the price down to 95. It's the information bit that's missing.
Information gap that exists.
And this is not just on this bill. It's on everything else.
Yes.
It's on the rollout of Shift Share.
Yes.
You're getting to a point where you have come to the end of September and you're told from tomorrow it is Sha. Okay, then you hear, no, the first month of Sha is not the rollout per se. It's just the rollout. The proper implementation begins in November, and that's when you start paying towards Shift. Okay. Do people understand? Are all stakeholders on the same page? The problem with government all the time, we speak with them here all the time and they say, yeah, I think it was our communication. They all know. Even the president, during the finance bill conversation, he said, I think we failed in communication because maybe we may have been able to convince people why we were seeking to raise 325 billion shillings extra through these measures in the finance bill. I think we failed in communication. When John Buddy was here last week and we asked him about this Adani deal, and he said, I think it's our communication. When the cabinet secretary and the principal secretary for health and medical services were here and we were talking about the rollout of SHA, I think it was our communication. When the chairman of SHA was here and we were asking about all these things and people not understanding what's happening, I think it's our communication. Everybody thinks it's a communication.
And?
It is communication that's an issue. Why is the government so averse at communicating?
You know,
Why?
What I find interesting are these declarations. We had the former Prime Minister saying, him, he knows Adani. And he knows that the people who can do a good job, they should be given a hearing. We should understand. The president comes along and says, you know something, this Adani guy, he's okay. Just pause, great leaders. This is not a faith issue. Okay? This is not, let's just believe. No.
Huyu jamaa ni best yangu sana.
No. Nimemno, huyu mambo yake inakuaga sawa. Sawa, huyu namjua. Sisi hatumjui. And it's not whether we know him or not. No, we actually don't even need to know him. What we want to understand is this money of ours which you want us to spend on our own behalf.
Yeah.
Has due diligence been taken so that we have the facts? This one, they say even faith comes by hearing. Okay? We have not heard. So even if, and the proclamation is not enough, hearing. We need details. We need comparisons. We need comprehensive breakdowns so that every question that we may ask, we will have the data and we'll have the information and we'll have responses that you can look at and you can corroborate and you can follow up and you can verify. And so your faith will have grounds. But a pronouncement and a proclamation and a call to faith, no.
There's an attitude within government that, first of all, they all acknowledge that there is a serious trust deficit.
It's called lip service.
They all know, right? They know. For sure they do. They know that something needs to be done. But it's that case of everybody knew somebody needed to do it. And in the end, nobody does it. Okay? They all know. So what you find with every government, what you found with the Uhuru government was, push gung-ho. People are saying, no, this SGR, couldn't we have done this, the other, couldn't we have done this? They say, build the thing. They will see. That's when they'll understand.
It was built.
When it comes to the expressway, this and that, build the thing. They will see.
It was built.
They will understand. That's the push. Even now, with the airport, with the power, with health, with all these things, with housing, go ahead and do it. These people don't understand. When they see it, they will understand. When they see it, that's when they'll get it. The problem is, by the time we're getting to see it, there's so much that's lost. All those number of units that right now, they're saying that the affordable housing program has done so many units. And so many units have been taken up by, people who applied to Boma Yangu. They've applied, they've actually started owning houses. All right.
Fine.
It's okay. But the very many who have not seen it, they are still at that level of this housing thing was just a scam. Even if you hear it, people have gotten like, who is this who's gotten the houses? Who got the houses?
Which one?
Where?
Did
they get them for free or did they pay?
And if so, what did they pay?
And it's all because you just didn't understand that you needed to communicate properly and walk the journey with the people. So that by the time the houses are completed and you're saying, we were all on board from the beginning. Don't say, build them. They will see those monstrosities of apartments. They will understand. They may never understand. Don't say, give the guy the airport. When we see new hotels coming up and more planes landing, they'll understand. They may never understand. Don't say power lines, build more power lines. When they see now there's stability of power, they'll understand. They may never understand. They may never link that now we have less blackouts because Adani did the power lines. They never link those two. Don't assume it. And the push to just say, unajua Wakenya ni wale man. Watu wanapiga kelele. If you listen to their noise, you'll never move. And as a government, you have a responsibility.
So you move.
So you just do it.
You lead.
Yeah, you lead. We need to raise money. What we need to do is take VAT to 16% so we can raise money. We need to increase the petroleum what's it called?
Levy.
Road maintenance levy. Because we need to build roads. People, when they'll make noise, we've added 7 bob. They just don't understand that we have to repair those roads. Just do it.
All these things will be said. And amidst all these things, there will be something called the truth. You see, the noise arises from our lived experience. Promises made, not kept. That is phase 1. Promises made, started, fulfilling, not completed. Phase 2. Promises made and even fulfilled. Even the things that the government has done well, they don't talk about. Even things which they have actually achieved, they don't talk about. So, that thing and the thread that ties all these things together is we don't know. So because we don't know, the assumption is that the government never does anything. And yet that is actually not true. There is a lot the government does. But since we don't hear what they have done, since we don't hear enough of what they have planned and they have started, all we hear and we know of are things which haven't been done. So everything is lumped together. So it's the government never does anything. But the thing that makes us understand and come to that conclusion even more readily is because we have this thing we keep being told are our debts. And we are being told that everything we collect, most of it, how much is it again? 80%. Goes towards paying the debts. So it's only 20% that is left for us to use. And we're saying, we are the ones who are paying for these debts. So when you send M-Pesa, you're going to pay more money. When you do this, you're going to pay more money. When you do this, and we're saying, all these things that you borrowed the money for on our behalf, they were supposed to bring about development. And from what we understand of development, the development was supposed to make our lives easier. Why is it that this development is making our lives harder? Why? This thing that was supposed to make our lives easier, this thing for which money was borrowed, this thing for which we are now repaying. Why? So when you talk about money, and even if you talk about a PPP, it's not free. It is not free. It is not free. You can tell us.
It's not.
It is not free.
It's a debt.
It is a debt.
It's a long-term debt. You're just paying it over 30 years.
Yes. You will tell us, no.
Loan.
They're the ones who are going to build and they're going to recover. Precisely. Precisely. Recover.
By charging for use of the infrastructure.
Yes. Who is going to pay for it?
That's it.
So, are we still not paying for it?
So we are paying expressway now.
Of course we pay for expressway.
China Road and Bridge got a PPP to construct the expressway.
Yes.
And to run and operate it for 27 years.
Yes.
And on the 28th year, transfer it back to Kenya.
Yes.
In that 27 years,
30 years.
it will charge a levy.
They charge.
Okay. The initial budget that was announced by the government, for example, this expressway was about 80-something billion shillings. Now, because the government pushed and said, finish this thing faster than the costs went up. We don't know how much it is right now. I'm sure the government knows. The public has not been told. Now what you need to pay to China Road and Bridge for the next 28 years or 30 or whatever is now not 80, it's 100.
It was a PPP.
Yes.
And the messaging was, you are not going to pay for this one. They will build. But we are paying. I mean, this thing, this is what I love about the government. You will not pay and yet you pay. So where are we exactly? Because according to you, we are not paying, but we know we are paying.
Yeah, this is not paying. It's just using.
You're just using, but they're the ones who paid for it.
You're paying to use.
Yes,
because they need to repair it.
Yeah, but you're also not paying. Okay? So now we're also not going to pay for the airport, and yet everything that has to do with the airport people pay. So, but we're still not paying.
Yeah.
So, what do you mean? All these PPPs, and we understand them, stop telling us we're not paying, please. Please, because we're paying.
It's a communication issue.
Yes.
It is a communication issue. I want to read the quote that was actually put in this one by the Standard.
Yes.
Let me read it before we continue. Okay. So they also have the same story about the Ruto now defends Adani power project deal. This is what he says. I want to quote the verbatim quote here. He said, the Adani Group is investing 95 billion shillings of its own money in the transmission line. Had we borrowed that money, it would have burdened the people of Kenya. This is now a private sector investment similar to the Nairobi expressways. He further underscored the importance of private sector involvement in unlocking Kenya's potential and fully exploiting its resources. Here's another verbatim quote. It is crucial for us as a nation to understand that public-private partnerships provide a win-win situation where we deliver public service using private investment, supporting overall development. Okay? The messaging here, the slant of the messaging is, these guys are putting their money, it is not our money. So they've come, they have their money, they put their money, they invest, and then they'll only now charge us for using it.
You know, they should stop telling us these things because they're not true.
Let's take a break. It's 27 minutes to 9. This is Kenya's biggest conversation. It's the Situation Room. I want to tell you what's happening on the roads, plus also give you the weather forecast for the day.